Yo, yo, yo! What's up, Soul Family? It's your boy, Brandon the Wizard, back with another blog, of course, every week now. I'm not gonna loosen up on this one. I know I fell off for a while before, but I'm back. So, yeah, here we are. Today, I'm going to, go into some more motivational type stuff and kind of talk about how I move through things and kind of how I get my inspiration for writing my stories and whatnot. And of course, as I promised, I'm gonna come back with that Book Wars #3 review and talk about what I think about it, and look through the book with you guys. You know how I do it. So, yeah, let's get started with topic number 1. Where I find my inspiration for my projects. As you guys know, I have the Obsidian out right now. You can download it digitally, or you can get a copy. It's made of all recycled materials. But yeah, Obsidian is inspired by my favorite beat 'em up superhero shit. I like superhero content that's kind of street level, fighting gangsters and mobsters and stuff. So, I like Daredevil. So, it's really influenced by Daredevil, Batman, and of course, like Spider-Man. There's some superpowered stuff going on in there too. But I've always liked that idea of, a cool character that had gadgets, moving through the night, stopping the bad guys that we're all afraid of, whether it be the crooked cops or it be like the gangsters on the street. He just serving justice. And that's just the kind of character that he is. What really stands out to me, what I really wanted to stand in the comic book, is that the characters in the comic all revolve around hip hop and like underground hip hop, and kind of like hip hop how it was kind of intended to be as an intellectual movement. So the characters are like lyricists, beat makers. They're really involved in their community, and there's a lot of graffiti inspired aspects to it. Not just my artwork, but just like the kids in there. They're doing graffiti. So a lot of the plot revolves around them like crossing out spots and that kind of vibe. So it's really fun book. You get a chance, check it out. It's on my website. It's good. Another thing I wanted to focus on inside the book was really like showing my imagination and my inspiration from like the 90s, like artists like Rob Liefeld and like Mark Silvestri, and the kind of like stories they told in their independent comics, like Witchblade, and like I really like the Youngblood. I recently started reading Youngblood. When I was a kid, I used to buy these comic books, and I didn't understand what the fuck was going on, low key, because I was so young, like in the 90s, I was a little kid, but I was like buying all these comic books, trying to soak it in. But now that I'm vibing with it, now that I'm older, I'm just like, yeah, man, like a lot of these people have cool ideas. They had original characters, and the art is really inspirational. So I just kind of wanted to bring that vibe to my comic book, where it's something unique, something different, and it's not the same old stuff that's been around. Even though all the same old stuff that's been around is awesome, we want it to keep being around, but I thought I'd do something with my spin on it, with my style on it, you know what I'm saying? So hip-hop, graffiti, beat 'em up superhero plot, a little esoteric madness, all these stories are about to tie in together too at the end. So I think it's going to be fun. So yeah, that's what inspired the Obsidian. As far as Psy Fu, I got the poster right here. I got 2 posters right here. This was amazing to make. Also, you can grab these on my site. This one's cool too. It has the main character kind of like chilling, doing his thing in a rock. He's meditating, got his incense and stuff out in front of the temple. Yeah, so Psy Fu. Psy Fu is or what I wanted to do with the concept of Psy Fu was kind of like embody all the spiritual things that I practice and do in my life, and kind of like in a non religious way. Kind of want to put an action-packed kung fu adventure together that kind of embody, the breath work, the meditation, also, the martial arts. It's everything in one story, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what inspired it. And I wanted to also, show ode to all the great epics that inspired me as a child, like Star Wars. George Lucas's original Star Wars trilogy is a big, really impactful on me as a child. I saw actually Empire Strikes Back before any of the movies. My grandma burned it on a VHS tape, and I happened to put the VHS tape in. It was Star Wars. She taped it off a TV special. And after that, I looked for everything Star Wars when I was a kid, and like by the time Episode 1 came out, I remember I was in 6th grade. I remember ditching school to go see that movie, Episode 1. I was so into Star Wars. I even got the Rebel tatted on me. But yeah, also it was inspired by, of course, Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings always vibed with me. When I first saw it, I saw it as a cartoon in elementary school. When the teacher brings in the old TV and they put it on a tape. Well, they put in the original. I think it was my 4th grade teacher or my 3rd grade teacher, can't remember which. They put on that original Lord of the Rings cartoons. I remember those. They're kind of like made in the 70s, I think, or they early 80s, late 70s. But it was super amazing. It blew my mind. After that, as I was really into the lore of like dragons, fairies, dwarves. I think the whole vibe is caught on, and other magic stories like that really vibed with me after too. I remember getting into Dragon's Blood, getting into Harry Potter, stuff like that. So yeah, that really inspired me. That I really that gave me a lot of reference for my story, even though I didn't use stuff directly from that. Just the idea of building a magical realm of like creatures that don't exist here and things like that. That's what I did with Psy Fu. There's like animals and creatures that don't exist in this world. I kind of just got inspired just to make them up. You know what I mean? Now there's like creatures that are like fairies, but they're the Morafians. They have pointy ears. They live for a long time. They have mysterious martial arts. So yeah, there's a lot going on that these other IPs inspired me to create my own. And of course, ancient cultures and ancient religious texts. They inspire me every day to this day. I'm constantly reading. Not so much the Bible anymore, but I've been tapping into the Bhagavad Gita's. I've been tapping into the Upanishads. I've been tapping into Greek mythology. I've been tapping into all this ancient lore, surrounding gods, and that I've been into it my whole life. So that inspired the story too. In the book Psy Fu, there's a whole pantheon of gods that the Morafians worship. And there's Obai. He's the elephant god. He represents the higher consciousness, like the third eye. And then you have Shobai or Phobai. He's the monkey god. He embodies happiness, love, communication, community. Then you also have Shobai, which he's the lion god. He represents survival and warrior spirit. So yeah, just check out the story. The audiobook's up, and those are things that inspired it. Ancient culture, 90s comic books, Lord of the Rings, what I'm saying, ancient religious text, just different things inspire me over time. Sometimes I would dive into different rabbit holes and the different theories about aliens, about the Marians, about Lyrans and all that stuff. That stuff inspires me to write cool things too, and I'm always diving into those rabbit holes. So yeah, check out my book, read it for yourself. It's awesome. So let's get into today's review. I went overtime talking about random stuff, but here it is. Bug Wars number 3. When we left off, our boy Slade, he was stuck in the what's called the blood hole, and he figured out that all the bugs were trying to collaborate to kill his brother for mowing the lawn. So in this one, we find out a lot of other cool stuff. For one, he can activate the crystal or the amulet on his chest from a magic word that his father gave to him, and it shows right here in the second page. His dad, giving him the secret word. It's a word that they played around with when he was younger. So he got the secret word. He's using his crazy powers, and that's when they find out. He's like a cross between a mite and a human, and a stomper they call. So he can he can use like mega strength while being small. He can crush things, pick up heavy things. He escapes the blood hole by lifting up the fence, actually, which is crazy. And then everyone escapes. And then unfortunately, this character is already liking the witch lady. Hopefully she ends up being good. But we find out in this book that she's like a part of the secret order of other spider witches, and she's like trying to be like this crazy she's like a spy. I like this right here. She's touching this web, and she's talking to the sacred order right there. They're letting her know that they don't want these lesser beings, the beetles, to even have this amulet. So she's gonna betray my boy, try to capture him, which happens right here at the end. So yeah, what's her name? Yeah, her name's right here. It's Wista, Sister Wista. So yeah, Sister Wista, betrays my boy, drags him back to her clan. And Slade. The book ends with Slade's mom and brother kind of just like looking for him. And the ants. The ants are I don't want to show you that page, actually. There's some shit going on that's probably X-rated. But yeah, the ants are in this. The ants are pretty pissed off too. They don't want the beetles to have these amulet either. So they're gonna They're gonna go ride on the beetles too to get the amulet. So there's a lot going on. Oh yeah, they call him the son of Jim. So apparently, Slade's dad was a big figure in this world where they worship him. There's a page on here where they have like, let's see, let's censor that part. But yeah, they have all his dad's old stuff, and they worship him like he's a god, he's like a mighty warrior that they respect and honor. I thought that was cool. So this amulet thing, something's like an heirloom, is like passed down to him. So that's crazy. So, yep, that's the end of this review today. Check out Bug Wars. Is the last page right there. Check it out. Bug Wars is very dope. Son of Jim is the next episode. I'm gonna do that review. I'm gonna read that book later today, and I'll probably do that review later this week. So look forward to that. Don't forget to check me out on my website, www.brandonwizardart.com. Also look me up on Instagram at BeTheWizardArt. Check out my books. I got a lot of stuff coming out. My audiobooks, you know how it goes. One love. Don't forget to love yourself, and keep tapping into your boy Brandon the Wizard. I got more art, more reviews, more stuff from my imagination about to drop on y'all. So stay tuned in. One.